Hello, everybody. Long time no see. Yeah, it's been what, a couple weeks at least, maybe more. Sorry about that, but I've been kind of under the weather, and I'm still kind of under the weather. Anyway, I won't bore you with my personal problems, personal health problems. Uh, it's one of those days things where you feel good one day and blah the next. So anyway. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's had a great 4th of July here in the United States. Elsewhere, I hope your 4th has been going great. Of course, for those who don't know it, 4th of July here in the United States is a big deal. It's basically when we declared our independence and became the US of A. So it wasn't quite complete at the time, but um, hey, we have to start someplace. But anyway, had a good time yesterday on the 3rd. Had a reverse dunk tank here. Some of my friends showed up. We got wet, cooled off. Yesterday was hot. Kind of strange. I mean, it was uh, in the 90s, and then about 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, here came the rain. Wasn't expecting that. Wind came up. The guy that came, that were the people who I rented the dunk tank from came to pick it up, and he's out there putting in his truck, and the lightning is flashing, thunder's rumbling. And I'm like, oh, good grief! Please God, don't let him get hit by lightning. But everything turned out all right. But yeah, and this morning I woke up. It was kind of cloudy. I thought we were gonna have some more rain, but luckily no. Of course, you'll be seeing this on the 5th. I'm recording this on the 4th, the evening of the 4th. I'm expecting my sister any moment. We're going to watch fireworks here in a bit, probably about an hour. And we'll see how that goes. But anyway, got an interesting topic here on Freefall. That's welcome to Freefall, by the way. Getting ahead of myself here. Uh, was listening to Sea Tranquility, Pete Pardo, and they were talking about Deep Purple and the offshoots from Deep Purple, Ian Gillan Band, Rainbow, and White Snake. And they broached on something that got me thinking about this. Bands that, excuse me, that when we heard them, we fell in love with a couple of songs, but we weren't so sure about their discography, what became before and after the albums these particular songs were on. So I thought, well, there were quite a few bands in my life that, well, not too many, but a few that I fell in love with certain songs, went out, bought the album, and wasn't so sure about anything else that they did until later on in life. And I'm sure that there's quite a few people out there. If you hear popping, that's fireworks going off. It's not gunfire. But anyway, I'm sure there's many of you who have dealt with the same problem. Heard that one song on the radio, and you fell in love and went out and bought the album. And the only thing you played on the whole album was that one particular song. The rest of it, you could care less about. Oh, there's my phone. Do 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 do. But anyway, I went back and got six bands that I liked, but I didn't fall in love completely to where I went out and immediately bought all their discography. That came later. Excuse me. Oh, but anyway, let's see if we do something here. This is not in a particular order. This number one is not my number one, two, three, whatever. This is what I wrote down here. So it's not a ranking system. So anyway, starting out with number one, which of course is the band that Pete and them were discussing, Deep Purple. Uh, Deep Purple, like I said, I wasn't so sure about them. Um, I knew Smoke on the Water, and that's about the only song I knew about up till I bought this first album, which of course was this one right here, Perfect Strangers. Of course, fell in love with the song Perfect Strangers. And I still love that song today. Went out and bought this album, and I didn't quite know what to make of the rest of the songs, like Knocking on Your Back Door, Under the Gun, Nobody's Home, Mean Streak, Gypsy's Kiss, Wasted Sunset, Hungry Days. This is the first album I ever bought in Purple. This is the album. Still got plastic wrap on it. Still got all the goodies. Who played on it? The Mark II lineup. Got the hits. Uh, and I paid $7.99 for it. Where did I buy this from? I think I bought this from. I think I bought this from Musicland. But anyway, didn't know what quite didn't quite know what to make of the rest album. It was good, but the only song I really cared for about was Perfect Strangers. Though Gypsy's Kiss, great rocker then, rocker there. I mean, yeah. But I didn't quite know what to make of the rest. Of course, when this album came out, House of Blue Light, I went out and bought it, and this is the original album I bought. How much did I pay for it? $8.99. Just went up a buck. uh, there's the guys on the back, still a Mark II. Before Ian decided to fly the coop for one album. Uh, this one, none of these songs were being played on the radio. So when I bought it, I was going in blind, and I did not like it. I did not like this album. Now I love this album. This was a great album. But it just goes to show you right there how you can be unsure of things, especially in music. Uh, I did not buy another Deep Purple album for many, many years until I bought. I think the next one was Made in Japan. And then from there, I bought uh, everything. I even got these two albums on CD. I pulled out the vinyl because they just happened to be uh, available, right there. I didn't have to look for the CDs. So it's just, when you look back, you think, how could I not like this stuff? I mean, I love everything from their first album, the Mark One album or group, down to the most recent, Whoosh. I don't like the last one, but can't remember what the heck it's called. Where they just do covers. Don't like that. I've listened to it. Don't like it. Well done, but I don't like it. So anyway, Iron Maiden. Yeah, Iron Purple and Deep Maiden. Yeah, that's interesting bands right there, eh? But yeah, when I bought these, I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I'm still feeling my way through my start. I'm still in the probably my sophomore year of going to rock and roll. Uh, my freshman would be with Kiss and Yellow and blah blah blah. This is my sophomore, but I was, back then you didn't have YouTube where you could go and listen to an album or group to see if you like them. Like now, that's why I love YouTube and YouTube music. It's opened my eyes to so many bands I was curious about, but I didn't dare go buy their album, thinking, well, I don't like this group. I just wasted my money, you know. So anyway, that's Deep Purple. Going on to the next one. Now, this band, a friend of mine, Rick, if you're watching, thanks for turning me on to these guys. Even though it took me a long time to get fully entrenched. Uh, when I first heard it, uh, it was on a cassette tape. I didn't know progressive rock was not really a everyday term back when I first heard these guys. Prog rock, progressive rock, whatever. If you'd said that, I would have said, huh? What are you talking about? So when I heard these guys, I'm like, what is this? I only liked one song. It wasn't played on the radio. That band is Dream Theater. This is the album I got on cassette. And of course, the song I liked is Pull Me Under. Pull me under. I just love it. But at the same time, I didn't quite know what to make of it. The rest of the album, at the time, I didn't like. But it got me curious enough to go out and buy this album. And this is the album I bought, the very first. Dream Theater. Put this on. Starts out with the title song, A Change of Seasons. Again, I'm like, what the heck is this? And of course, you got covers. So anyway, I put those away for quite a long time. And then YouTube Music came along. I got curious. I think I'll go back and see what these guys got going on. Of course, they had all these albums that I didn't know anything about because, of course, they didn't play them on the radio. Went back, revisited this album, went out and bought. Well, this is part of a box set. think through this through a dramatic turn of events. Um, I love it. I love Dream Theater. But it just show you how prog, progressive rock, progressive metal can be a shocker to some, and it was. I just didn't quite know what to do with prog rock or prog metal. Uh, this album, I not one of my favorites, though it's good. I like the title track. Uh, the rest of it, I don't listen to very much. But anyway, Dream Theater's fantastic. Though it took, like I said, took a while to fully entrench itself with me. Okay, next one. A band that goes all the way back to late '60s. Another band that I have my friend Rick to thank for. And Rick, you're right on, man. I miss you. I miss Jenny. If you're watching this, I miss you. I miss the kids. I really do. You're family to me. I love you. So, anyway, Rick gave me some 8-track tapes. Excuse me. I'm not crying. Runny nose for some reason. But anyway, Rick gave me some 8-track tapes, and I still have those 8-track tapes someplace, but I wasn't going to hunt those down. I was going to try to find the box they're in. But anyway, I don't know which one I heard first, but it's one of these two. Their very first album, and I believe their fourth album. Yeah, Demons and Wizards. Of course, this is the U.S. version of their first album. The UK version is very, very heavy, very humble. I remember listening to this, and Rick, again, I was shocked. I did not know what to make of this. Of course, this is, when this came out, I was 8 years old. So I think Rick gave me the 8 tracks in the late '70s, along with some others. Well, I'll come to that later. But Gypsy, I was dumbfounded. I didn't. I'm like, what is this? Walk in Your Shadow, come come away, Melinda, Bird of Prey, Dream Mare, Real turned on. I'll keep on trying and wake up, set your sights. I'm like, you got this album. I think he gave me The Magician's Birthday, but I didn't grab that one. But this one, The Wizard, I love right off the bat. Traveler in Time, Easy Living, great, Poet's Justice, Circle of Hands, Rainbow Demon. I love that one off the bat. All My Life and Paradise's Spell. I didn't quite get Paradise's Spell, uh, but I was another band that I didn't quite know what to make of. So again, I put away the 8-track tapes, listen to them once in a while, but until I get involved in other things like partying, cars, women, whatever. So many years later, I finally decided, well, I'm going to go out and see what check out Uriah Heep once again. And the older me loved Uriah Heep right off the bat. I went back and listened to these albums, went out and bought the whole. I'm, I still haven't got all Uriah Heep's albums. I think I'm missing two, but eventually I'll get them. Hopefully. But there again, another band that I kind of liked, but wasn't so sure at the time. Of course, as we get older, we get more refined, we get more learned in things, and what didn't strike us fully at the beginning, later on, just makes more perfect sense. Which brings us to this next band. Excuse me, I gotta. Um, I knew who I knew this band before I got any of their albums. Though I wasn't quite sure of it because the sound was too close to country for me. The band is ZZ Top, of course. Uh, I'd heard, you know, Lagrange and Cheap Sunglasses and stuff like that, but it was too country sounding. And back then, even though I'd started listening to country before I got into rock and roll, I stayed away from it. Probably because I didn't my friends come out and say, "Oh, you like country, huh?" Oh, those days. Oh, how did I survive them? So anyway, along comes a song uh, that we all know. And I grabbed the wrong albums. Oh, grabbed the wrong one. Anyway, um, Sharp Dressed Man and Give Me All Your Lovin'. I was enthralled. Love those songs. Went out and bought Eliminator. I believe it. I bought it on cassette. Uh, though, again, I only liked three songs at the time: "Sharp Dressed Man," "Give Me All Your Lovin'," and "Under Got Me Under Pressure." The rest of the album, I care less about. Of course, then this album came out. Uh, Stages just blew me away. And Planet of the Women. Again, I only liked those few songs. Of course, then this album, which I wasn't planning on grabbing, but I might as well show it, came out. And this album I didn't like at the time. So I kind of put ZZ Top on the back burner for quite a while. Uh, Fast forward many years later, probably about 8, 9 years ago, I got back into ZZ Top. Um, Decided, I'm going to check it out, check all their stuff out on YouTube. I love it all. I've recently acquired all their albums, but again, another band that I wasn't so sure of. Uh, I did have their first album on 8 track, and that was given to me by my sister, who was gifted to by somebody else. I listened to a few songs, and I'm like, "Good grief!" I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Love it today, but back then, back in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I did not like it. But ZZ Top, uh, their uh, more recent albums are really bluesy, heavy blues. Like it. It's not my favorite. Their later albums are not my favorite, but I still love them. You know, I've listened to Mescalero today out on the porch. Uh, but yeah, real bluesy, heavy blues. I mean, just and the fuzz, ooh, heavy. So anyway, ZZ Top, great band. Took a while to tape, but it's worth the wait. Okay, next one, number 5. Again, Rick, thank you. Got these on 8 track. There was a couple others that I got along, but I just pulled out 2. I still have the 8 track someplace, but I didn't. I was gonna, like I said, I was gonna hunt them down. Anyway, Jethro Tull. Now, before Rick gave me those 8 tracks of Tull, I'd heard Bungle in the Jungle and Aqualung. I had no idea Bungle in the Jungle was Jethro Tull. I knew Aqualung was Jethro Tull, but I didn't. When I first heard Bungle in the Jungle, I thought it was some. I pictured some guy wearing a tie and tuxedo singing. I, I was only a kid. I was only in my oh early early teens. So, but anyway, Rick gave me this album along with this, and I believe Heavy Horses and Songs from the Wood. I did not quite. Again, I didn't quite know what to make of Jethro Tull. Uh, this album, this album, I kind of got right off the bat. So it was kind of strange. This one was really strange. So again, I listened to them the other 2 for a while, then put them away. Uh, it was probably the mid '80s when I finally picked up Tall again and decided, I'm going to check these guys out, and I really started digging their stuff. So I went out and bought their whole discography. Haven't looked back since. Uh, but Ian Anderson, brilliant guy. But my the thing I the problem I have with Ian, and it's just a little problem. I love the guy. I mean, he's a brilliant guy. He knows what he wants to do. But the thing is you go through all his songs, and I think maybe a total of maybe 4. It might be less. Were written out by other people. Uh, the first album, though, was written. There's more or other band members involved. Uh, but after that, Ian just took over. And the problem there is sometimes you tend to stagnate a little bit. You get so set, and it happened a few times, especially in the 90s or 80s and 90s. You got these into these little click sounds, where each album would sound the same. Love the album, love the albums, but they sound like Catfish Rising and Rock Island. They sound the same. uh, but at the same time, during the 70s, Ian changed up his sound and his writing skills, and uh, especially when you go from Benefit to this to Songs from the Wood, uh, especially Songs from the Wood and Heavy Horses, because that period, Ian had gone through a divorce. I know there's a few videos I saw of him during that period where he looked like he was about to lose it. I might have been wrong, but I know I know a couple of people who went through messy divorces, especially a close friend of mine who went through a 12-year divorce, and it tends to play with your head. Uh, so once he got through that, finally got it behind him, he moved to the country, bought a farm, and his music changed. And it went from this to a kind of a folk rock style, progressive folk rock style, and that it stayed that way for 3 albums: "Song from the Wood," "Heavy Horses," and "Stormwatch." "Stormwatch," uh, an album that at the beginning I didn't really get. I love today. I love that album. And I believe that was my number one in my ranking of Tall. I just I even today I can't get enough. Uh, but again, I just did not know what to make of Tall when I first heard him. You could almost say it's a culture shock thing. And when you're young, you get entrenched in these things. Like I was entrenched with Kiss and stuff like that. Along comes Tall and ZZ Top, and that you're like totally different from what you're used to. So, and this was so. Tall is that one of my favorite all-time bands now. I just love the only album. The only albums from Tall that I do not get whatsoever is Passion Play and Thick as a Brick. I'm sorry. I've listened to those albums. They're musically they're strong, lyrically they're strong. I just do not like them that well. I don't hate them. I just don't listen to them. I listen to them once in a blue moon. In fact, a couple weeks ago, I listened to the remastered Passion Play, and I just I stopped. I couldn't get into it. So anyway, maybe someday. Anyway, the last band, the band that I discovered when right after I got hooked by Kiss. Um, and I I would trip a lot of people out with this band because a lot of my friends didn't understand my musical tastes. So I kind of didn't let everybody know what I was playing or listening to. So, but anyway, the band is YOLO, and this is the very first album I bought. Uh, very well worn. I remember listening to this album and looking at the cover, and I even there was a store that sold uh, pro, day old canned goods and stuff that had been taken off the shelf from regular supermarkets. And they were still good, but they were day old and cheaper. Something Enterprises. I can't. But anyway, they had these round uh, ply or particle board discs that had been cut out, I guess for round windows or something. I don't know. Uh, my mom bought me a bunch of them, and on one of them, I painted the spaceship, the yellow spaceship. I still have it today. In fact, it's a flat on a flat surface. It's all this right here, everything on here, except for this spaceship right here. Uh, on this, and it's probably about this big. But anyway, I bought this album, played the heck out of it. Of course, then along came Discovery. These two albums are totally different from each other. They're the same but different. This is more poppy. This is more disco flavored. This one's kind of touching on that, but not fully. This is kind of this one right here is transition between what came before and what was to come. This one, I would say, was kind of them feeling their way into something new, a new sound. I know Jeff Lynne later on said he wanted to get away from the orchestration because doing orchestras, having orchestras and stuff was, oh boy, they're really starting to pop the fireworks off. But he wanted to get away from having to do the arrangements and stuff, which I don't blame him. Probably a lot involved bringing everything together, especially when he did El Dorado. Uh, that was a big task for him. But anyway, I remember I bought these two albums. I bought uh, their greatest hits compilation, Olay ELO, and then uh, pulling a blank here, the one before Out of the Blue, uh, a new world record. Uh, but their older stuff, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to buy it. I wasn't really. I was chicken. Let's put it that way. I didn't want to buy them because I was afraid I wouldn't like them and I'd thrown away a bunch of money. And back then, when you're a kid, you don't have a lot of money. You get some money and you go, oh, cool, let's go buy something, and then it's gone. And then, Mom, can I have some more money? Sorry, no, you spent your money. You get away again. Uh, so it wasn't until oh early '90s until I start really get back into ELO. Went out, and finally bought all their discography and haven't looked back since. But again, it shows you how you can, those few songs. I mean, the songs on this one was Sweet Talking Woman and Turn to Stone. But the thing is I love the rest of the album. But what came before, I wasn't sure. Let's put it that way. Uh, I remember this album right here when I was in high school. Our math teacher had some papers to do, so he said we're not going to have a regular class. We're going to go up to. He was also the music teacher. Uh, he said we're going to go to the music room and I'm going to do some work there. Bring some that listen to while we're there. So I bought this, took a chance, and everybody was sitting there like, "What the heck are you listening to?" Especially the Cowboys. They gave me crap about it later. Uh, but Mr. Wise, he after when class was ended, he said, "Davis, come up. Who was that we were listening to?" And I told him I was Electric Light Orchestra. And he goes, "Really? Hmm." And he was, and Mr. Wise, he was kind of a cantankerous guy. I mean, he would not mince words with you. I mean, he would straight out say tell you if something sucked, something sucked. So when he said, hey, "That's pretty good," I thought, "Ooh, I scored a brownie point with him." But he was the kind of guy that he would he wouldn't hold back. If he thought you did something stupid, he would tell you, "Yeah, you did something stupid." In fact, there's one kid in there. I won't mention his name, but Mr. Wise didn't like him, and he called him scumsuck. So nowadays that would not fly. He had been canned a long time ago. Of course, a lot of the teachers back in my day, they would not get away with half the stuff they did. But the thing is they taught. They knew how to teach children. A lot of the teachers nowadays, they do not know their rear end from a hole in the ground. They think that politics and their personal views come first. Oh no, well, I better not say any more. I'm getting to politics. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, there you have it. Bands that didn't click with me, but later on did. Excuse me. Or bands that I wasn't quite sure of. Uh, now, there's some other bands. Maybe we'll do another one of these later on. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. Um, really need to get back into doing videos again. Just when you don't feel good, it kind of sucks. Trying to do things like this. I mean, I even just to read or listen to music, it just I don't know. Maybe someday I'll feel better again. Well, my mother said that. Uh, but anyway, have a good week, and hopefully we'll see you next Monday. Like I said, I'll try to get back into doing some rankings and some other things. Been wanting to do movie review on Last of Us, but we'll keep that for another time. Anyway, have a good week, and we will see you when we see you.